Hi, I'm Susan. This is Foxy, and I wanted to come and talk with you a little bit today about 10 leadership skills that come from research on women leaders that are from my book, Conceiving a Peaceful World, Women's Body Wisdom, Leadership, and Peacemaking. It's a new ebook out on iBooks, Kobo, Nook, and Kindle. So I want to start by just remembering a phrase that my mom used to say to me all the time when I was young, and that is that the hand that rocks the cradle rocks the world. And that always inspired me, even though I don't have kids. It inspires me to think about what women can do when we work together. So, the first of these skills is a belief, a foundational belief in the ultimate value and worth of every person, regardless of difference. We're all different in lots of different ways, and each person is of ultimate value and worth. So believing that genuinely in our hearts and being able to encourage and lift others up in our valuing and honoring and revering of each other. A second skill that's central to having healthy, socially just relationships with others as leaders is to have a healthy spirituality. For some it may be a religious faith, for some it may be a spiritual practice, for some it may be a sense of trying to connect in a loving way to all people. So that a spiritual practice has to do also with following your bliss and respecting the bliss of others. And of course, that's a phrase coined by Joseph Campbell. And one of the ways that we do that is by having some kind of a meditative practice. So for some, it's prayer. For some, it's journaling. For some, it's drumming. For some, it's jogging or dance. So there's so many different ways that we have a spiritual practice that can put us into a meditative state. There were times when I was taking care of my mom, who lived in a hospital bed in my living room for many years, and just caring for her became almost a meditative spiritual practice for me that recentered me into what's really important. A third skill is to have a genuinely sincere interest in relating to others. So a genuine care for others, a genuine interest in the lives of others and the struggles of others and the talents and gifts of others is really important to women's leadership. Empathic listening is a fourth skill that really builds on our ability to genuinely love and care about others. So when we listen empathically, we're not talking and we're really trying to imagine the situation of the other person. We're trying to imagine their feelings. How would I feel if I was in that situation? What would I be thinking? What would it be like to be in that situation? So those are what and what would I need if I was in that situation? So empathic listening is really at the heart of course of moral development, but also of being able to connect in a meaningful way with others that we desire to collaborate with and cooperate with and work together with. A fifth skill then develops out of empathy, and that is mutuality. I care about you and what's happening to you. You care about me and what's happening to me. And as we seek to work together, we seek to find answers and ways of addressing concerns that meet both of our needs, that meet both of our community's needs, that meet all of our needs as well as is possible. And then a sixth skill then develops out of that, and that has to do with cooperation and collaboration. So, and then as we work together mutually, that evolves into cooperation. and collaboration. And women principals Reagan and Brooks, one of the things that they noted is that when the per number of women in a group or an organization reaches a certain tipping point, the whole mood or the whole way of relating in that organization shifts from competition to cooperation. That's an amazingly important observation, and I think it's a very exciting an exciting skill set that we have as women that helps us work together effectively, or can. Cooperation and collaboration that's truly built on empathic listening and mutuality creates an atmosphere of trust and of trust building upon which real compromises, real collaborative decision making can be made. That's a foundation for solving conflicts and for working together to come to agreements in a consensus way where everybody finds a solution or a set of solutions that everybody can feel good about. And their collaboration can occur and does occur within organizations, but also between organizations. So groups of organizations or nonprofits or small nations and nonprofits have come together to create things like the International Landmine Ban Treaty, or the International Criminal Court, or peace conferences and conferences on the environment or other issues facing communities and that people care about. So conflict management and conflict resolution is another skill set. It's a seventh skill, and of course the foundation of being able to resolve conflicts effectively is to have personally good anger management skills. And so that's kind of a foundation for conflict resolution. And then other skills that are built on top of that have to do with strategies of nonviolence, conflict resolution skills, compromise, making decisions together, coming up with solutions together, consensus decision making, using the problem solving model. These are all component skills that are talked about in my book and other people's books as well. The eighth skill that I'd like to talk about is community advocacy. So it has to do with the willingness to speak out and take sometimes significant personal and professional risks to speak out for the good of ourselves, for the good of others, our communities, and our nation, and also our earth environment, our animals and our ecologies that don't have a voice. So that takes courage sometimes, and it takes perseverance, and the ability to persevere and keep working on an issue even when success is not guaranteed, because change can still occur in meaningful ways even if the biggest goals that we have are not accomplished. And sometimes it's a very, very long struggle. You look at the civil rights movement, a very long struggle, but eventually civil rights became a reality. And the same with women being able to vote and many other really important changes in our world. So not giving up and perseverance is part of community advocacy and having that really long view. A ninth skill is the ability to vision and to imagine a future and solutions that are new, that may not be out there. Imagine possibilities and new ways of thinking outside the box, and to do that collaboratively with others. So it's not just my vision, but it's how do I listen to other people's visions? How do we take pieces of each of our visions and put them together in a way that creates something new systems, new structures, policies, organizations, laws, programs, social movements different ways of doing things. And the 10th skill has to do with being able to organize. And being able to organize has to do with many, many different skills. It has to do with being able to use technology, being able to work with the media, being able to work with lawmakers, being able to think about how is a law created, and what are the structures that I can use or the vehicles that I can use to work with others to imagine a new law and to propose a new law. So there are many different ways of thinking about organizing. Of course, people go door to door to talk to people about issues. People use email. People use video. So organizing and that skill set is so enormous that there's a lot to learn and a lot to talk about, and that's why we need each other, because one person can't have all of these skills, but we can certainly be familiar with them and work together. So thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful and inspiring a little bit, and I will see you next time, and say goodbye. Bye-bye.